สวัสดีครับท่านผู้ชมที่เคารพครับโทรทัศน์รวมการเฉพาะกิจแห่งประเทศไทยขอนำท่านผู้ชมมาเฝ้าทูลละอองธุลีพระบาทสมเด็จพระเจ้าอยู่หัวในการเสด็จออกมหาสมาคมณสีหบัญชรพระที่นั่งอนันตสมาคมเนื่องในพระราชพิธีมหามงคลเฉลิมพระชนมพรรษา 5 ธันวาคม 2555 สำหรับผู้ที่ทำหน้าที่บรรยายในวันนี้ก็ได้แก่ผมประภาส สกุลธนาคครับ
ผมกันตชาติเกษมสรรณอยุธยาครับ
ผมพันเอกวินไทยสุวารีครับ
ดิฉันสายสวรรค์ขยันยิ่งค่ะ
ผมร้อยเอกนายแพทย์ยงยุทธปัญญาลาภครับ
การเสด็จออกมหาสมาคมเป็นพระราชกรณียกิจอันสำคัญที่พระบาทสมเด็จพระเจ้าอยู่หัวพระราชทานพระบรมราชวโรกาสให้แก่พระบรมวงศานุวงศ์ข้าทูลละอองธุลีพระบาทองคมนตรีรัฐบาลข้าราชการทหารตำรวจและประชาชนทุกหมู่เหล่าได้เข้าเฝ้าทูลละอองธุลีพระบาทถวายพระพรชัยมงคลเนื่องในโอกาสวันเฉลิมพระชนมพรรษาค่ะ
สำหรับกิจกรรมในส่วนของทหารแต่เดิมได้จัดให้มีพิธีถวายสัตย์ปฏิญาณตนและสวนสนามของฐานรักษาพระองค์ซึ่งจะมีในทุกๆวันที่ 2 ธันวาคมของทุกปีครับแต่สำหรับในปีนี้ได้มีการปรับรูปแบบโดยไม่มีการสวนสนามมีเฉพาะพิธีถวายสัตย์ปฏิญาณตนของฐานรักษาพระองค์โดยให้จัดไว้ในคราวเดียวกับการเสด็จออกมหาสมาคมในครั้งนี้ครับและในปีนี้มีทหารรักษาพระองค์จาก 12 กองพันจำนวน 2,162 นายเข้าร่วมพิธีในครั้งนี้ครับ
ในปีนี้นะครับภาครัฐเอกชนและประชาชนทุกหมู่เหล่าจะได้พร้อมใจกันน้อมเกล้าน้อมกระหม่อมถวายพระพรชัยมงคลและได้จัดกิจกรรมเฉลิมพระเกียรติพระบาทสมเด็จพระเจ้าอยู่หัวมากมายเพื่อเป็นการแสดงออกถึงความจงรักภักดีครับและสำหรับช่วงค่ำวันนี้โทรทัศน์องค์การเฉพาะกิจแห่งประเทศไทยจะได้ทำการถ่ายทอดสดพิธีถวายพระราชสักการะและจุดเทียนถวายพระพรชัยมงคลจากบริเวณมณฑลพิธีท้องสนามหลวงไปยังอีกกว่า177ประเทศทั่วโลกผ่านทางไทยทีวี Global Network เพื่อให้ประสงค์นิกรชาวไทยทุกหมู่เหล่าทั่วทุกมุมโลกได้มีโอกาสแสดงออกซึ่งความจงรักภักดีโดยพร้อมเพรียงกันครับ
Television for Thailand welcomes you to the live transmission of the ceremony when His Majesty the King will grant a grand public audience for members of the royal family, high-ranking officials, representatives of various governmental and private institutions, and members of the public to present him with humble good wishes on the occasion of the celebrations of His Majesty the King's 85th birthday anniversary, the 5th of December 2012. This will take place here at Ananta Samakom Throne Hall within the ground of Dusit Palace, Bangkok. There will also be the ceremony of the taking of the oath of allegiance to His Majesty the King by 12 battalions of Royal Guards. For people in Thailand, you can watch this program narrated in English if your television set has a dual sound system.
ครับขอให้ท่านผู้ชมได้ติดตามรับชมการถ่ายทอดสดของโทรทัศน์รวมการเฉพาะกิจแห่งประเทศไทยได้ต่อไปครับ
On behalf of the Television for Thailand, I would like to welcome you once again to the live telecast by the Television for Thailand via the Thai TV Global Network of the grand public audience granted by His Majesty the King on this auspicious occasion of His Majesty's 85th birthday anniversary. And this is the view of the Royal Plaza with the King Rama V equestrian monument in the center. The plaza is part of Dusit Palace, originally named Dusit Garden or the Celestial Garden, and you can see hundreds of thousands of people gathered within the area of the Royal Plaza. You can see it all the way down the Rajadamnern Avenue, which is further away. The number of people is staggering, is enormous. Way back in the past, in the year 2006, the 9th of June 2006, that was the time when His Majesty's 60th year on the throne was celebrated, and that His Majesty made an appearance before a grand audience at the balcony of Ananta Samakom Throne Hall at that time too. And at that significant event of 2006, hundreds of thousands of people wearing yellow shirts filled up the Royal Plaza and spilled over along Rajadamnern Avenue to cheer and pay their deep loyalty and respect to their beloved king, just like what you are seeing right now on the screen. hundreds and thousands of people lining up along the Rajadamnern Avenue, and they really overspill the Royal Plaza. As you can see, they're all waving the national flags as well as the yellow flags of His Majesty the King. So they're all waiting for the arrival of their Majesties the King and Queen. The royal flags of Thailand are flags that are usually flown in Thailand along with the national flag to honor the King and Queen, as well as the royal family of Thailand. And unlike the royal standards, they are only displayed in special ceremonies and in particular locations. The royal flags are a ubiquitous sight all over Thailand. And here some of the participants holding up royal portraits of His Majesty the King. And this is the national flag of Thailand, the red, white and blue striped flag. The yellow shirts that the people are wearing are symbolic of His Majesty the King's birthday, which is Monday, and the yellow color denotes Monday. So His Majesty the King will appear on the open balcony or Sihabanchon of the Ananta Samakom Throne Hall within the Dusit Palace at around 10:30 a.m. Thai time, which is 7 hours ahead of the Greenwich Mean Time. According to the schedule of the Grand Public Audience, His Majesty the King will proceed to the Ananta Samakom Throne Hall from Sirirat Hospital in a royal motorcade at 9:40 a.m. And when the ceremony begins, he will receive the congratulatory statements from His Royal Highness Crown Prince Mahawachiralongkorn, Prime Minister Ms. Yingluck Shinawat, Mr. Somsak Suranon, President of the Parliament, and Mr. Pairot Wayupap, the President of the Supreme Court. A large number of Thai people gathering here have been waiting for this occasion since last night. A lot of them have taken up their seating positions and standing positions from late last night in preparation for this morning's event. Dusit Garden was the result of the visionary design by King Rama V, inspired by his European tour in 1897. King Rama V envisioned a new palace with a difference. To achieve this vision, farmland between the Padung Krung Kasem and Sam Sen canals was bought to site this second palace. And now the commencement of the march by the Royal Guards, the unit columns having been in position at the assembly areas in Amporn Garden next to the Royal Plaza, have now started to commence their parade. So the bugle call was blown twice to signal the march, and on that signal at Sanam Serpa compound opposite Amporn Garden, fireworks are set off, displaying the royal monogram of His Majesty the King, Poporo, and of Her Majesty the Queen, Sokor, together with flares producing smoke with colors of the rainbow. The military band is now playing a march, and two march tunes will be played, namely the Rajawallop March and the March of the 1st Infantry Regiment, King's Own Bodyguard. Unit columns commenced their march from the assembly areas in Sunampon into the Royal Plaza, and they are marching in 6 columns. So they are now proceeding, heading towards the Tuitep Samoson gate into the compound of the Ananta Samakom Throne Hall to take up their positions on the lawn in front of the throne hall. So this is being led by the military band coming from the 3 armed forces. As for the Thai military band from the 3 armed forces, the conductor is Lieutenant Colonel Pichit Suwanakanit, with Major Napon Vihan Thamme being his assistant. And this is the unit columns comprising the headquarters of the Combined Guards Unit, the 4 Regiment headquarters and the 12 battalions of Royal Guards. commander of the Combined Guards Unit, Major General Wara Bunyasit. He's leading the Combined Guards Unit headquarters. So, the unit column taking part in today's pledging of the Oath of Allegiance ceremony consists of the headquarters of the Combined Guards Unit and 12 battalions, namely the 1st Regiment headquarters, which comes from the 1st Infantry Regiment, the King's Own Bodyguard. The 1st Battalion, which comes from the 2nd Infantry Battalion, 1st Infantry Regiment, the King's Own Bodyguard. The 2nd Battalion is from the 3rd Infantry Battalion, the 1st Infantry Regiment, the King's Own Bodyguard. The 3rd Battalion is from the 2nd Infantry Battalion, 2nd Infantry Regiment, the King's Guard. And for the 2nd Regiment headquarters comes from the Royal Thai Armed Forces Cadet Regiment, Royal Military Academy. In the picture here is the 2nd Battalion, with the commander being Lieutenant Colonel Premi Rat Thanathai Phakdi of the 3rd Infantry Battalion, the 1st Infantry Regiment, the King's Own Bodyguard. They're wearing top cap with magenta plume, Krupaha cap badge, and also the white magenta flannel collar and cuffs with gold trimming. This is the 3rd Battalion, the 2nd Infantry Battalion, 2nd Infantry Regiment, the King's Guard, headed by the commander, Lieutenant Colonel Varamathon Bunnak. They're wearing the top cap with black plume, Krutpaha cap badge with the green flannel, black flannel collar and cuffs with gold embroidery. Their trousers are of black flannel with 2 green stripes. They're also wearing the gold insignia with the royal monogram Poporo over their right breast pockets. So this is the 4th Battalion. This comes from the 2nd Battalion Cadet Regiment, the King's Guard of Jula Jom Klau Royal Military Academy, led by Lieutenant Colonel Somporn Topap, with their distinctive coat of red flannel, dark blue collar and cuffs with gold embroidery. The 2nd Regiment headquarters and the 4th Battalion, they all come from Jula Jom Klau Royal Military Academy, and these were established in 1887 by King Rama V, who gave a directive to set up a military school for army officers known as the Cadet School, and in the same year changed the name to Saranrom Military School. Its president is Jula Jom Klau Royal Military Academy. It is 125 years old, producing military officers with great leadership, equipped with knowledge, discipline, good conduct, and patriotic philosophy in life. This is the 5th Battalion, led by Commander Narupon Virajit, the 1st Naval Cadet Battalion Commander, Naval Cadet Regiment, the King's Guard, Royal Thai Naval Academy, with their coat being of navy blue, collar embroidered with 8 gold chayapruk leaves, cuffs embroidered with white badge. The trousers of dark blue flannel with gold stripes, and with wearing the gold insignia with the royal monogram Poporo over their right breast pockets. During the reign of King Rama V, he gave the old royal palace in Thonburi as a site for the establishment of Royal Thai Naval Academy. And King Rama V came to inaugurate the building in 1906, and that gave rise to the Royal Thai Naval Academy. And this is the 3rd Regiment headquarters, the 11th Infantry Regiment, the King's Guard, under the commanding of Colonel Songwit Nun Phakdi. They're wearing the coat of dark blue flannel with collar and cuffs with gold embroidery, and trousers of black flannel with 2 red stripes. this is the military band that is leading the parade. Altogether, there are 2,162 troops taking part in the procession today. This is the 7th Battalion coming from the 1st Infantry Battalion of the 11th Infantry Regiment, the King's Guard, headed by Lieutenant Colonel Saksiri Kengrang. They're wearing dark blue flannel for their coats with collar and cuffs with gold embroidery. Their trousers are of black flannel with 2 red stripes with the gold insignia with the royal monogram Poporo over their right breast pockets. This 1st Infantry Battalion of the 11th Infantry Regiment, the King's Guard, was established in 1925, initially as the 2nd King's Own Bodyguard Battalion, directly under the 1st Infantry Regiment, King's Own Bodyguard. The next one is the 8th Battalion, coming from the 1st Artillery Battalion, the King's Guard. They're wearing their coats of yellow flannel with black collar and cuffs with gold embroidery. Their trousers are of black flannel with 2 yellow stripes. They're also wearing gold insignia with royal monogram Poporo over their right breast pockets. The 1st Artillery Battalion, the King's Guard, commander is Lieutenant Colonel Jiro Thuptianrat. It was established in 1907 during the reign of King Rama V, who held the position of the brigadier of the battalion in 1909. In 1916, King Rama VII, while holding the title of Prince Sukhothai Thamaracha with the rank of captain, was designated as the commander of his 2nd company. Here's the 9th Battalion, coming from the 1st Engineer Battalion, the King's Guard. They're wearing their coats of white flannel with black collar and cuffs with gold embroidery. Their trousers are of grey flannel with 2 black stripes. And they're also wearing gold insignia with the royal monogram Poporo over their right breast pockets. So this is the 9th Battalion, with the commander being Lieutenant Colonel Gitti Konghom. In 1951, the battalion took part in putting down the Manhattan Rebellion and was able to hold on to the area of Chonburi province until the unrest resolved. In 1972, it participated in the operations to fight communist insurgents in the areas between Loi, Phitsanulok, Phetchabun provinces, and in 1992, the battalion dispatched 1 engineering company to support the mission of the United Nations in clearing landmines and helping in development of Cambodia in cooperation with International Task Force, UNTAET. The 4th Regiment, headquarters, headed by the commander, Colonel Charan Chai Hin Thao, commanding officer of the 21st Infantry Regiment, the Queen's Guard. The regiment was established by Prince Chainat Narenthorn in 1950 and joined the United Nations in halting the advancement of communist forces in the Republic of Korea. Originally known as the 21st Combined Regiment, it carried out heroic acts during such operations that it was known under the name of the Little Tiger. The 21st Combined Regiment had become the 21st Infantry Regiment, the Queen's Guard, and in 1976, its camp was bestowed the name of Nawamintha Rachini and given the other name of Nawamintha Rachini Musketeer Regiment. The 11th Battalion, headed by Commander Pisit Jintakoson Wit from the 9th Infantry Battalion, Commander Royal Guard, 3rd Infantry Regiment, Marine Division, RTMC. They're wearing the coats of red flannel coat with dark blue band collar and cuffs attached with gold stripes. The collar embroidered 8 laburnum leaves in gold silk, the end of the sleeves attached with white cloth with golden rank insignia. And this is the 12th Battalion, headed by Wing Commander Grichaya Wannapum, who is the commander of the 1st Royal Thai Air Force Security Force Battalion, Royal Thai Air Force Security Force Regiment, the King's Guard, Royal Thai Air Force Security Force Command, Air Combat Command, Royal Thai Air Force. With their coat of magenta flannel, grey collar and cuffs with gold embroidery. This 12th Battalion is the first land fighting unit of the Royal Thai Air Force. It was bestowed the status of the King's Guard on the 10th of September 1980 during the present reign. So these are all of the 12 battalions under the 4 regiments, headed by the headquarters of the Combined Guards Unit. Again, this is the 12th Battalion, the last battalion in the 12 Battalion formation. The 1st Royal Thai Air Force Security Force Battalion, Royal Thai Air Force Security Force Regiment, the King's Guard, Royal Thai Air Force Security Force Command, Air Combat Command, Royal Thai Air Force. They are now approaching the Ananta Samakum Throne Hall, where the parade, the march, will bring them into the ground of the Ananta Samakum Throne Hall, where they will take up their position. They're proceeding via the Tuatep Samoson Gate. And you can see that most of them have now taken their positions on the lawn in front of Ananta Samakum Throne Hall. See the full view of the Ananta Samakum Throne Hall, which is one of the architectural masterpieces of early Bangkok. King Chulalongkorn commissioned the construction of this new throne hall in 1907. His Majesty laid the foundation stone for the building on the 11th of November 1908 in celebration of the 40th anniversary of his coronation. After the passing of King Chulalongkorn, King Rama V in 1910, his son and successor to the throne, King Vachiravut, or King Rama VI, oversaw construction of the building. It took 8 years to build, with the throne hall completed in 1915. The Ananta Samakum Throne Hall was designed and decorated by Italian architects and artists in an Italianate neo-Renaissance style. It's built of white marble from the famous quarries in Carrara, Italy. Ananta Samakum Throne Hall is a 2-story building with a large dome in the center and 6 smaller domes to its side. The top floor is a long throne room, exquisitely decorated with pillars made of single pieces of marble. Above the doors connecting each room are elaborate decorations in Roman style. The domes are decorated with frescoes by the famous Italian artist Giulio Cini, who was expressly selected by King Chulalongkorn for this work. And you can see some of those frescoes just now at the beginning of this live transmission. Frescoes depict famous events of the 6 monarchs of the Chakri dynasty who had reigned until the throne room of the Ananta Samakum Throne Hall is used for various royal ceremonies, and a royal throne is placed under the main rotunda, topped with the 9-tiered umbrella of the king. And here is the Cavalry Squadron, the 29th Cavalry Squadron, Royal Horse Guard. They have their coat of somber blue flannel with 2 rows of gold buttons, collar and cuffs with red flannel background and gold embroidery. They also have gold insignia with royal monogram Poporo on their cuffs. Their trousers are of somber blue flannel with one yellow stripe. They're also wearing gold insignia with royal monogram Poporo over their right breast pockets. They will be acting as the guards of honor to humbly welcome the arrival and the departure of their Majesties the King and Queen. The cavalry squadron is led by Lieutenant Colonel Ronarit Watsungner. He's the commander of the 29th Cavalry Squadron Royal Horse Guard. And here is the headquarters of the Combined Guards Unit, with Major General Wara Bunyasit being the commander. They're in readiness for the arrival of their Majesties the King and Queen. In celebration of the birthday anniversaries of His Majesty the King of Thailand, the Royal Guards of the Royal Thai Armed Forces performed a military parade and pledged loyalty to the monarch. The venue has been the Royal Plaza here in Bangkok, Thailand, in front of the Dusit Palace and its Ananta Samakom Throne Hall. All three branches of the armed forces take part in the parade as seen in the composition of the mass military bands, bugle squads and the colors parties of the 13 of the 12 military units participating. Also unique in their uniforms and bearskin hats, except for the one cavalry unit in attendance wearing cuirassier uniforms, cavalry helmets, mounts and Thai lances. Of the 12 participating battalions, most are from the Royal Thai Army, with 2 battalions, one each from the Royal Thai Navy and Royal Thai Marine Corps, and another 2 battalions coming from the Royal Thai Air Force, all in full dress uniforms. Of all of them, most are active military units. The rest are military academies of the Royal Thai Armed Forces, represented by cadet battalions of the academies themselves, led by their commanders. The tradition started in 1953 by King Bhumibol Adulyadej, or King Rama the Ninth, the present monarch. Colors ceremony for the new colors of the 1st Infantry Regiment, the King's Guard, and has now grown into a national military tradition through the years. And now we are seeing the atmosphere outside Sirirat Hospital, where the Thai people wearing their yellow shirts awaiting the departure of His Majesty the King from Sirirat Hospital. They're all waving the national flags as well as the King's flag with the yellow color. King Bhumibol Adulyadej of Thailand is beloved by the people and respected by the world. He is the longest serving living monarch in the world. He has dedicated his life to Thailand and the Thai people. He has personally taken charge of hundreds of projects, and thousands of projects designed to improve the lives of the Thai people. When crowned King of Thailand on the 5th of May 1950 at the Royal Palace in Bangkok, where he pledged that he would reign with righteousness for the benefit and happiness of the Siamese people, this inaugural royal pledge, graciously given by His Majesty the King, has been echoing in our hearts ever since the coronation day. From that day on, not even one day has passed without him feeling heartfelt concern about his subjects' lives. His Majesty always takes his subjects' difficulties as if they were his own, and he would not hesitate to tackle them. It's not an exaggeration, therefore, to say that we are truly blessed to be his subjects. He doesn't like to use his wealth and power for his personal gain. Instead, he works for his people, and because of this, he's the most respected person in all of Thailand. The king was born on Monday, So it is common to see Thais showing their love and respect and loyalty by wearing shirts bearing the royal color yellow on Mondays. Recently, Thai people wear pink shirts as a mark of well-wishing for the king's good health too.
ในการพระราชพิธีเฉลิมพระชนมพรรษาพุทธศักราช 2555 ในเช้าวันนี้ผมขออนุญาตกราบเรียนรายละเอียดของการปฏิบัติของทุกท่านเพื่อความเข้าใจความพร้อมเพรียงและความเป็นระเบียบงดงาม
All royal guards of the 12 battalions are now in their positions in readiness in front of Ananta Samakom Throne Hall. A single bugle will now be sounded twice to signal the guards to be
ไป
prepared.
ทางลานพระบรมรูปทรงม้าเพื่อรอรับเสด็จกระบวนรถยนต์พระที่นั่งจะเคลื่อนผ่านประตูทวยเทพสโมสรเข้าสู่บริเวณพระที่นั่งอนันตสมาคมและไปหยุดณที่เทียบรถทางด้านทิศตะวันออกขององค์พระที่นั่งระหว่างที่รถยนต์พระที่นั่งเคลื่อนผ่านขอทุกท่านได้โปรดหมุนตามรถยนต์พระที่นั่งเพื่อทุกท่านจะได้อยู่ในตำแหน่งเฝ้าทูลรองทูลพระบาทชมพระบารมีโดยตรงตามประเพณีเมื่อเสด็จพระราชดำเนินขึ้นบนพระที่นั่งอนันตสมาคมแล้วขอทุกท่านยืนรอเฝ้าในตำแหน่งเดิมเพื่อรอเวลาที่จะเสด็จออกณศรีหฤทัยก่อนที่พระบาทสมเด็จพระเจ้าอยู่หัวจะเสด็จออกมหาชนเล็กน้อยสมเด็จพระบรมโอรสาธิราชสยามกุฎราชกุมารจะเสด็จพระราชดำเนิน
The commander of the Combined Guards Unit, Major General Wara Bunyasit, commanding general of the 1st Division, the King's Guard, has now given the order to the Royal Guards to present arms. The band is now playing the national anthem and the Colours March. The Colours Guards will now move into the position alongside the 1st Regiment and will then present arms. Being born to their designated positions for the arrival of Their Majesties the King and Queen. This event of the military parade and the pledging of the oath of allegiance to His Majesty the King by the King's Guards have been taking place at the Royal Plaza within the ground of the Dusit Palace for a number of years, since 1953. In 1997, the date of the ceremony was changed from the 3rd of December to the 2nd of December. And in 2008, the parade changed its formation into the 2 regiments or 2 battalions marching next to each other so as to reduce the time taken for the ceremony. In the year 2010, His Majesty the King graciously granted the permission for the ceremony of the taking of the oath of allegiance by the Royal Guards to take place during the grand public audience by His Majesty the King at Amarin Vinichai Throne Hall within the ground of the Grand Palace. This was part of the celebrations on the auspicious occasion of His Majesty the King's birthday anniversary, the 5th of December 2010. At that time, the Supreme Commander of the Royal Thai Armed Forces, accompanied by 48 high-ranking military officers, led the 12 battalions of Royal Guards in taking the oath of allegiance. In the year 2011, during the grand public audience granted by His Majesty the King to members of the royal family, high-ranking officials, representatives of the governmental and private sectors, and members of the public to humbly offer him good wishes on the occasion of His Majesty's 84th birthday anniversary at Jakari Mahaprasad Throne Hall, the military ceremony changed the parade of the 12 battalions and 1 cavalry squadron to the parading of 48 colors by 48 groups of color guards from 48 participating military Royal Guard units. As for this year, the taking of the oath of allegiance by the Royal Guards involved the 12 battalions of 2,126 men who begin their march from the assembly points within the Ampon Garden on the western corner of the Royal Plaza.
พระบาทสมเด็จพระเจ้าอยู่หัวจะเสด็จเดินมาถึงพระที่นั่งอนันตสมาคม
The colors have now been paraded to the front row in readiness for the presentation to His Majesty the King.
เช้าวันนี้ขออนุญาตกราบเรียนรายละเอียดของการปฏิบัติของทุกท่านเพื่อความเข้าใจความพร้อมเพรียงและความเป็นระเบียบ
The commander of the combined guards unit has given the command to order arms.
ความกรุณาทุกท่านโปรดหันหน้าไปทางลานพระบรมรูปทรงม้าเพื่อรอรับเสด็จกระบวนรถยนต์พระที่นั่งจะเคลื่อนผ่านประตูทวยเทพสโมสร
In a moment, the royal motorcade will move along the Wutong Nai Road and enter the Ananta Samakom Front Hall via the Tuoi Tep Samosorn Gate.
ขอทุกท่านได้โปรดหมุนตาม
So the announce here is
เพื่อทุกท่าน
informing all the participants in the Royal Plaza to
ชมพระบาร
look
มีโดยตรง
towards
ตามประเพณี
the
เมื่อเส
equestrian
ด็จพระราชดำเนินขึ้นบนพระที่นั่ง
monument
สมาคมแล้ว
of
ขอทุ
King
กท่าน
Rama
ยืนรอ
V
เฝ้าในตำแหน่งเดิม เพื่อรอเวลาที่จะเสด็จออกณสีหบัญชรก่อนที่พระบาทสมเด็จพระเจ้าอยู่หัวจะเสด็จออกมหาสมาคมเล็กน้อยสมเด็จพระบรมโอรสาธิราชสยามกุฎราชกุมารจะเสด็จพระราชดำเนินลงจากพระที่นั่งอนันต
Dr.
สมาค
Thongthong
ม
Jantarangsu, who
ทาง
is
บันได
the
ด้านซ้ายมื
permanent
อ
secretary
ของสีหบัญชร
to the Prime Minister's office, is now informing all the participants within the Royal Plaza of the procedures that is going to take place this morning for the grand public audience.
สยามกุฎราชกุมารครั้งหนึ่งเมื่อแรกเสด็จลงจากพระที่นั่งและอีกครั้งหนึ่งเมื่อทรงเข้าประจำที่เบื้องหน้าสีหบัญชรเมื่อทุกอย่างพร้อมเพรียงแล้วพระบาทสมเด็จพระเจ้าอยู่หัวจะได้เสด็จออกมหาสมาคมแห่งนี้ขณะเมื่อเสด็จออกมีประโคมตามราชประเพณีทหารกอง
He's informing the participants that once the royal motorcade has arrived at the Ananta Samakom Throne Hall, Their Majesties the King and Queen will enter the throne hall, and later His Royal Highness Crown Prince Mahavajiralongkorn, dressed in his royal gown, will proceed to the lawn in front of the Ananta Samakom Throne Hall, in front of the open balcony, to wait the arrival of Their Majesties the King and Queen. And then His Majesty the King will appear on the balcony for the grand public audience. Following that, His Royal Highness Crown Prince Mahavajiralongkorn, the Prime Minister, the President of the Parliament and the President of the Supreme Court will offer their statements of felicitations, well wishes on the occasion of the 85th birthday anniversary of His Majesty the King to His Majesty the King.
เมื่อประธานรัฐสภากราบทูลพระกรุณาเจาะเฉพาะสมาชิกรัฐสภาถวายความเคารพผู้อื่นยืนนิ่งโดยดุษณีภาพจากนั้นผู้บัญชาการทหารสูงสุดจะได้กล่าวทูลพระกรุณาและกล่าวนำทหารรักษาพระองค์ถวายสัตย์ปฏิญาณเฉพาะทหารรักษาพระองค์กล่าวตาม
Although Thailand is now a democratic nation, the people still holds the highest reverence for the king's royalty, total, that he is never content until each duty is carried out to his complete satisfaction. His Majesty starts by being meticulous in what is usually regarded as mere formalities, such as in putting his seal or signature to all laws and decrees down to minor public orders. He acquaints himself with all subjects that pass before him and makes observations wherever appropriate, requesting clarifications from the relevant officials whenever necessary. He makes formal state functions into personal affairs, even adjusting the details of some ceremonies to make them more authentic and meaningful. Above all, he always takes the opportunity to meet and talk with the people from all walks of life that attend these ceremonies in order to learn the true circumstances of their professions and thereby the true conditions of the country. As foreign relations are always conducted at the head of state level, His Majesty exercises to the full of his prerogative in dispatching and receiving envoys to and from friendly nations. These former functions are, however, conducted by him with a most personal touch. He anoints each Thai ambassador in the farewell audience and gives appropriate words of advice. Foreign envoys accredited to the Thai court are received in both formal and informal audiences, and His Majesty uses the latter to forge close personal bonds, which lead to smoother and more sympathetic cooperation. Official is now sounding grab, the instrument, to give a signal announcing the opening of the royal curtain and the royal arrival of His Majesty the King. The commander of the Combined Guards Unit has given the command to order arms. The Guards of Honor also order arms. His Royal Highness Crown Prince Mahawachiralongkorn will now open the conical cover of the flower container in the floral tribute and deliver a congratulatory statement to His Majesty the King on behalf of the royal family.
ขอเดชะฝ่าละอองธุลีพระบาทปกเกล้าปกกระหม่อมบัดนี้รุ่อุดมมงคลสมัยเฉลิมพระชนมพรรษาอีกวาระหนึ่งข้าพระพุทธเจ้าเราพระบรมวงศานุวงศ์มีความปิติปราโมทย์พ้นประมาณที่ได้มาเฝ้าทูลละอองธุลีพระบาทร่วมกับบรรดาข้าราชการและประชาชนจากทุกถิ่นฐานทั่วราชอาณาจักรซึ่งพร้อมใจกันมาชุมนุมในมหาสมาคมอันใหญ่ยิ่งนี้เพื่อถวายพระพรชัยมงคลข้าพระพุทธเจ้าทั้งปวงเป็นผู้มีโชควาสนาที่เกิดมาในแผ่นดินไทยภายใต้พระบุญญาบารมีจึงได้รับพระมหากรุณาชุบเลี้ยงให้มีความสุขความเจริญและมีเกียรติยศเป็นที่เชิดชูตามฐานานุศักดิ์อีกทั้งได้มีโอกาสเฝ้าสังเกตศึกษาพระราชจริยาโดยประจักษ์แก่ตาแก่ใจอยู่ตลอดเวลาทำให้เกิดศรัทธาเชื่อมั่นด้วยเห็นแท้แน่แก่ใจว่าพระราชกิจน้อยใหญ่ที่ทรงพระราชอุตสาหะปฏิบัติบำเพ็ญด้วยพระวิริยะและพระขันติธรรมอย่างยิ่งยวดนั้นล้วนเป็นไปเพื่อประโยชน์คือความผาสุกร่มเย็นของอาณาประชาราษฎร์และความมั่นคงปลอดภัยของประเทศชาติทั้งสิ้นพระบารมีซึ่งแผ่ปกเกล้าปกกระหม่อมอยู่ทุกเช้าค่ำนี้ข้าพระพุทธเจ้าทั้งปวงตามสำนึกรู้อยู่ทุกเวลาด้วยกตัญญูกตเว ทิตาจิตในมหามงคลสมัยพิเศษนี้จึงมีสมานฉันท์พร้อมใจกันถวายสัตย์ปฏิญาว่าจะตั้งตัวตั้งใจมั่นอยู่ในธรรมสุจริตและในความจงรักภักดีจะมุ่งมั่นประพฤติตัวปฏิบัติงานตามภาวะฐานะและหน้าที่ของตนให้สำเร็จผลเป็นประโยชน์แก่ประเทศชาติและประชาชนสืบสารพระราชปณิธานแห่งใต้ฝ่าละอองธุลีพระบาทโดยเต็มกำลังสติปัญญาความสามารถเพื่อสนองพระมหากรุณาธิคุณกับทั้งขอพระราชทานถวายพระพรชัยมงคลขออานุภาพแห่งคุณพระศรีรัตนตรัยและสิ่งศักดิ์สิทธิ์กับทั้งพระบรมเดชานุภาพแห่งสมเด็จพระมหากษัตริย์ในอดีตทุกพระองค์จงพร้อมกันอภิบาลรักษาใต้ฝ่าละอองธุลีพระบาทให้ทรงสมบูรณ์ด้วยพระพลานามัยมีพระราชฤทัยผ่องแผ้วเบิกบานปลอดพ้นจากเรื่องรบกวนกังวลทรงพระเจริญพระชนสุขสิริสวัสดิ์เป็นร่มฉัตรร่มโพร่มไทรของปวงข้าพระพุทธเจ้าและประชาชนชาวไทยยั่งยืนไปตลอดกาลนานด้วยเกล้าด้วยกระหม่อมขอเดชะ
His Royal Highness Crown Prince Mahavajiralongkorn gave the congratulatory statement that on this auspicious occasion of His Majesty's birthday anniversary, members of the royal family are very pleased to join with high-ranking officials, members of the public, in humbly offering humble good wishes to His Majesty the King. We are very fortunate to be born under His Majesty's kingship and authority, and we observe His Majesty's royal activities carried out with great devotion and diligence for the benefit of the kingdom. We are all deeply grateful for His Majesty's kindness. We shall take a pledge that we shall be honest and adhere to Dharma, work for the benefit of the people, and to work for His Majesty the King by following His Majesty's footsteps. The Prime Minister, Ms. Yingluck Shinawatra, will now open the flower container in the floral tribute and will deliver her congratulatory statement on behalf of the Cabinet, government officials, and the general public.
เดชะฝ่าละอองธุลีพระบาทปกเกล้าปกกระหม่อมในมหามงคลสมัยที่วันเฉลิมพระชนมพรรษาเวียนมาบรรจบอีกคำรบหนึ่งในวันนี้ข้าพุทธเจ้านางสาวยิ่งลักษณ์ชินวัตรนายกรัฐมนตรีในนามของคณะรัฐมนตรีข้าราชการและประชาชนชาวไทยทุกหมู่เหล่าที่มาชุมนุมพร้อมกันในมหาสมาคมแห่งนี้รู้สึกสำนึกในพระมหากรุณาธิคุณเป็นล้นพ้นหาที่สุดมิได้ที่ทรงพระกรุณาโปรดเกล้าโปรดกระหม่อมให้ข้าพระพุทธเจ้าทั้งปวงเข้าเฝ้าทูลละอองธุลีพระบาทเพื่อน้อมเกล้าน้อมกระหม่อมถวายพระพรชัยมงคลด้วยน้ำใจที่เปี่ยมไปด้วยความจงรักภักดีตลอดระยะเวลาอันยาวนานภายใต้ร่มพระบารมีในใต้ฝ่าละอองธุลีพระบาทประชาชนชาวไทยทั้งหมดทั้งสิ้นล้วนประจักษ์ชัดแจ้งว่าความสุขความสงบร่มเย็นและความเจริญก้าวหน้าสารพัดในประเทศนี้เป็นผลมาจากพระราชวิริยะอุตสาหะและพระมหากรุณาธิคุณในใต้ฝ่าละอองธุลีพระบาทที่ทรงปฏิบัติบำเพ็ญมาต่อเนื่องยาวนานโดยแท้พระเดชพระคุณที่ทรงบริวารรักษาตลอดจนพระบารมีที่ปกแผ่คุ้มเกล้าเหล่าปวงประชา เกินกว่าถ้อยคำที่ปวงข้าพระพุทธเจ้าจากพรรณนาได้ครบถ้วน ณ มหามงคลโอกาสแห่งวันเฉลิมพระชนมพรรษา 5 ธันวาคม พุทธศักราช 2555 ข้าพุทธเจ้าขอพระราชทานพระบรมราชานุญาตอัญเชิญอำนาจแห่งคุณพระรัตนตรัยพระเดชานุภาพของสมเด็จพระมหากษัตริย์ในอดีตกับทั้งอำนาจสิ่งศักดิ์สิทธิ์ทั้งหลายในสากลจงเป็นผลดลบันดาลให้ใต้ฝ่าละอองธุลีพระบาททรงพระเจริญเกษมสุขมีพระกมลปรารถนาสิ่งใดจงสำฤทธิ์ทรงสถิตเป็นธงชัยของชาติและประชาชนตลอดกาลนานดังใจปรารถนาของข้าพระพุทธเจ้าทั้งปวงด้วยเกล้าด้วยกระหม่อมขอเดชะ
Prime Minister Ms. Yingluck Shinawatra has given her congratulatory statement that on this auspicious occasion, on behalf of the Cabinet, high-ranking officials, members of the public, they are deeply grateful for being granted this grand public audience to offer His Majesty humble good wishes. Thai people fully aware the advancement of the nation is due to the devotion and sacrifice of His Majesty.
ปกเกล้าปกกระหม่อมเนื่องในอภิรักษ์ขิตสมัยอันเป็นมหามงคลวันเฉลิมพระชนมพรรษาของใต้ฝ่าละอองธุลีพระบาทที่เวียนมาบรรจบครบรอบอีกวาระหนึ่งในวันที่ 5 ธันวาคม 2555 ข้าพระพุทธเจ้านายสมศักดิ์เกียรติสุรนนท์ประธานรัฐสภาในนามของสมาชิกรัฐสภาและสมาชิกสภาผู้แทนราษฎรผู้แทนปวงชนชาวไทยมีความปลื้มปิติและสำนึกในพระมหากรุณาธิคุณเป็นล้นพ้นที่ใต้ฝ่าละอองธุลีพระบาทมีพระมหากรุณาธิคุณต่อพระสงฆ์นิกรชาวไทยหาที่สุดมิได้ทรงครองแผ่นดินโดยธรรมทรงชี้นำแนวทางในการแก้ปัญหาต่างๆของประเทศบันหนึ่งดวงประทีปส่องทางแก่ทวยนิกรชนเสมือนสายฝนที่ไหลหลั่งให้ความฉ่ำเย็นแก่พื้นปฐพีเสมอแสงสุรีที่ให้ความสว่างแก่พลังชีวิตประดุจแสงจันทร์เพ็ญโสภิตให้ความร่มเย็นเป็นสุขทรงขจัดเปื้องสรรพทุกข์ให้พินาศไปนับเป็นบุญอันประเสริฐสุดของพระสงฆ์นิกรชาวไทยโดยแท้ในโอกาสมหามงคลสมัยวันเฉลิมพระชนมพรรษาแห่งใต้ฝ่าละอองธุลีพระบาทวาระนี้ข้าพระเจ้าทั้งหลายขอพระราชทานพระบรมราชวโรกาสน้อมเกล้าน้อมกระหม่อมถวายพระพรชัยมงคลขออาราธนาคุณพระศรีรัตนตรัยและอัญเชิญสิ่งศักดิ์สิทธิ์ทั้งหลายในสากลพระบรมเดชานุภาพแห่งพระสยามเทวาธิราชสมเด็จพระบูรพมหากษัตริยาธิราชเจ้าทุกพระองค์และพระบุญญาบารมีที่ได้ทรงบำเพ็ญมาโปรดดลบันดาลอภิบาลรักษาใต้ฝ่าละอองธุลีพระบาทให้ทรงพระเจริญทรงพระเกษมสำราญพระราชหฤทัยชื่นบานทรงมีพระพลานามัยสมบูรณ์แข็งแรงเจริญพระชนมายุยิ่งยืนนานพระเกียรติคุณแผ่ไพศาลทั่วทุกทิศสารนุทิศสถิตเสถียรในมหาสวรรค์ราชสมบัติทรงเป็นมิ่งขวัญร่มโพทองของปวงข้าพระเจ้าและพระสงฆ์นิกรชาวไทยตราบติรัติการด้วยเกล้าด้วยกระหม่อมขอเดชะ
The President of the National Assembly, Mr. Somsak Kiat Suranan, has given the congratulatory statement on behalf of the legislature and the people of Thailand that we are deeply grateful for His Majesty's untiring devotion to the well-being of his subjects. His Majesty rules the country with justice and fairness and provides warmth, wisdom and beacon of light to show people the way of living.
ฝ่าละอองธุลีพระบาทปกเกล้าปกกระหม่อมข้าพุทธเจ้านายไพโรจน์วายุภาพประธานศาลฎีกา ในนามของข้าราชการฝ่ายตุลาการที่ปฏิบัติราชการสนองพระเดชพระคุณภายใต้เบื้องพระยุคลบาทขอพระราชทานพระบรมราชโองการ กราบบังคมทูลพระกรุณาแสดงความจงรักภักดีปีติสมนัสเนื่องในวันมหามงคลเฉลิมพระชนพรรษา 5 ธันวาคม พุทธศักราช 2555 ในใต้ฝ่าละอองธุลีพระบาทผู้ทรงคุณอันประเสริฐทรงเป็นมิ่งขวัญของประชาชนชาวไทยและทรงสถิตอยู่ในดวงใจของประชาราษฎร์ตลอดมาใต้ฝ่าละอองธุลีพระบาททรงเป็นพระประมุขของประเทศผู้ทรงดำรงอยู่ในพระราชนิติแห่งธรรมิกราชเพราะเพียบพร้อมด้วยทศพิธราชธรรมจักรวรรดิวัตรและสังฆาวัตถุอย่างครบถ้วนทรงอุทิศพระองค์ปฏิบัติบำเพ็ญพระราชกรณียกิจน้อยใหญ่นานับประการเพื่อประโยชน์สุขของประสบกนิกรชาวไทยและความเจริญก้าวหน้าของประเทศในด้านการศาลใต้ฝ่าละอองธุลีพระบาททรงรอบรู้ในธรรมศาสตร์และนิติศาสตร์อย่างประเสริฐได้พระราชทานแนวทางการปฏิบัติหน้าที่แก่นักกฎหมายและตุลาการเพื่อรักษาไว้ซึ่งความยุติธรรมและประโยชน์ของประเทศชาติโดยให้นิพพิเคราะห์ปัญหาและสิ่งต่างๆด้วยคุณธรรมความรอบรู้ตลอดจนความเข้าใจในวิถีชีวิตของปวงชนตามกาลสมัยอันจะนำพาประเทศไปสู่ความสมบูรณ์และความเป็นปึกแผ่นมั่นคงสถาวรข้าพเจ้าบรรดาข้าราชการฝ่ายตุลาการผู้พิจารณาพิพากษาอัตถคดีในพระปรมาภิไธยต่างสำนึกในพระมหากรุณาธิคุณอันล้นพ้นหาที่สุดมิได้ขอตั้งสัตย์ปฏิญาณด้วยดวงจิตอันมั่นคงเปี่ยมด้วยความภักดีว่าจะร่วมกันปฏิบัติหน้าที่สนองพระเดชพระคุณในอันที่จะประสิทธิ์ประสาทความยุติธรรมแก่ปวงชนด้วยความเที่ยงธรรมและสุจริตธรรมอย่างเต็มกำลังสามารถในสมัยอันเป็นมงคลนี้ข้าพเจ้าทั้งหลายขอพระราชทานพระบรมราชวโรกาสน้อมเกล้าน้อมกระหม่อมถวายพระพรชัยมงคลขออานุภาพแห่งคุณพระศรีรัตนตรัยอันประเสริฐและพระบรมเดชานุภาพแห่งสมเด็จพระบูรพมหากษัตริย์ทุกพระองค์ได้โปรดอภิบาลใต้ฝ่าละอองธุลีพระบาทให้ทรงสมบูรณ์ด้วยพระสุขภาพพรานามัยมีพระชนมายุยิ่งยืนนานทรงพระเกษมสำราญเพียบพร้อมด้วยจตุรพิธพรชัยสถิตสถาพรในรัตนราชไอศูนย์ยั่งยืนตลอดกาลนานด้วยเกล้าด้วยกระหม่อมขอเดชะ
The President of the Supreme Court, Mr. Phairot Vayupap, has given the congratulatory statement on behalf of the judiciary that we wish to express our loyalty and pleasure on this auspicious occasion. His Majesty is in the heart and mind of the Thai subjects.
ฝ่าละอองธุลีพระบาทปกเกล้าปกกระหม่อมข้าพระพุทธเจ้าพลเอกธนศักดิ์ปฏิมาปกรณ์ผู้บัญชาการทหารสูงสุดพร้อมด้วยผู้บัญชาการทหารทุกเหล่าทัพทหารมหาดเล็กรักษาพระองค์ทหารรักษาพระองค์และทหารทุกหน่วยทุกเหล่าทัพขอพระราชทานพระบรมราชวโรกาสถวายสัตย์ปฏิญาณต่อไปนี้ให้ทหารถวายคำสัตย์ปฏิญาณตามข้าพเจ้าขอเดชะฝ่าละอองธุลีพระบาทปกเกล้าปกกระหม่อมข้าพระพุทธเจ้าพลเอกธนศักดิ์ปฏิมาปกรณ์ขอถวายคำสัตย์ปฏิญาณต่อใต้ฝ่าละอองธุลีพระบาทว่าข้าพระพุทธเจ้าจักยอมตายเพื่อรักษาไว้ซึ่งพระบรมเดชานุภาพแห่งพระมหากษัตริย์เจ้าข้าพระพุทธเจ้าจักจงรักภักดีและถวายความปลอดภัยต่อใต้ฝ่าละอ พระบาทจนชีวิตหาไม่ข้าพระพุทธเจ้าจักเชิดชูและรักษาไว้ซึ่งเกียรติยศเกียรติศักดิ์ของทหารรักษาพระองค์ทั้งจักปฏิบัติตนให้เป็นที่ไว้วางพระราชหฤทัยของใต้ฝ่าละอองธุลีพระบาททุกประการด้วยเกล้าด้วยกระหม่อมขอเดชะ
กองผสมตรงหน้าร่วงพันธยาพุทธ
His Majesty the King, after receiving tributes from his son, His Royal Highness Crown Prince Vajiralongkorn, the Prime Minister, the President of the Senate, and the Supreme Commander of the Armed Forces, will now respond with a royal speech.
คำอวยพรและคำปฏิญาณสัญญาที่ทุกท่านได้กล่าวนั้นเป็นที่ประทับใจมากขอขอบใจและขอบใจทั้งหลายตลอดจนประชาชนชาวไทยทุกคนที่พรั่งพร้อมกันมาด้วยความปรารถนาดีและไมตรีจิตความปรารถนาดีและความพร้อมเพรียงกันของทุกท่านอย่างที่ได้เห็นในวันนี้ทำให้ข้าพเจ้าปลื้มใจมีกำลังใจมากขึ้นด้วยความเชื่อเสมอว่าความเมตตาปรารถนาดีของท่านต่อกันนี้เป็นปัจจัยอย่างสำคัญที่จะทำให้ ความพร้อมเพรียงให้เกิดขึ้นมีขึ้นทั้งในหมู่คณะและในชาติบ้านเมืองและถ้าคนไทยเรายังมีคุณธรรมอันนี้ปราศจากมีคุณธรรมข้อนี้ประจำอยู่ในจิตใจก็จะมีความหวังได้ว่าบ้านเมืองไทยไม่ว่าจะอยู่ในสถานการณ์ใดๆก็จะอยู่รอดปลอดภัยและดำรงมั่นคงต่อไปได้ตลอดรอดฟังอย่างแน่นอนขออำนาจให้แห่งคุณพระรัตนตรัยและสิ่งศักดิ์สิทธิ์จงคุ้มครองรักษาท่านและชาติไทยให้มีแต่ความผาสุกร่มเย็นยั่งยืนไป
โอ้ผสมตรงหน้าร่วงวันทยาพุทธ
His Majesty the King has given his statement. He said that the congratulatory statements and oath of allegiance have impressed His Majesty. His Majesty thanks everyone, all Thai citizens who joined together with good wishes today. The good wishes and togetherness that His Majesty sees today uplift him. This togetherness is an important factor for the unity to occur in the kingdom. If Thais still adhere to this virtue in their heart and mind, one can hope that the kingdom will survive and thrive despite any obstacle. May the power of the triple gems, protect all ties and the nation, and allow them to live happily ever after. His Majesty the King has now been joined on the Sihabanchon or the open balcony by His Royal Highness Crown Prince Mahavajiralongkorn, Her Royal Highness Princess Mahachakri Sirinthorn, Her Royal Highness Princess Chulaporn Walailak, Her Royal Highness Princess Uwanrat Rajakanya, Her Royal Highness Princess Sirat, Her Royal Highness Princess Som Sawali, His Royal Highness Prince Tipankor Rasmi Chod, Her Royal Highness Princess Siritha Chuthaporn, Her Royal Highness Princess Atityathorn Kittikul. The jubilation of the crowds is immense. The people shouted, Song Phra Charan, or Long Live His Majesty the King, and this echoed throughout the Royal Plaza. The Supreme Commander led the Royal Guards in taking the oath of allegiance, and this was as follows. May it please Your Majesty, I pledge the oath to Your Majesty that I will lay down my life in order to preserve the regal might and glory. I will forever be resolute in my loyalty and dutiful in providing protection to Your Majesty. I will always cherish and uphold the honor and prestige of the Royal Guards and persevere to be worthy of Your Majesty's trust and confidence. Highness Crown Prince Mahavajiralongkorn, in his congratulatory statement to His Majesty the King on behalf of the royal family, he said that on this auspicious occasion of His Majesty's birthday anniversary, members of the royal family are very pleased to join with high-ranking officials and Thai people throughout the country in humbly presenting good wishes to His Majesty. He said that we are very fortunate to be born under His Majesty's kingship and authority. We observe His Majesty's royal activities carried out with great devotion and diligence for the benefit of the kingdom. We are all deeply grateful of His Majesty's kindness. We all take a pledge that we shall be honest and adhere to Dharma. We shall work for the benefit of the people. We shall work for His Majesty by following His Majesty's footsteps. Prime Minister Ms. Yingluck Shinawatra, in her congratulatory statement, said that on behalf of the Cabinet, government officials, members of the public, she expressed the deep gratefulness for being granted the grand public audience to offer humble good wishes to His Majesty on this auspicious occasion of his birthday anniversary. Thai people fully aware that the advancement of the nation is wholly due to the devotion and sacrifice of His Majesty the King. His Majesty's kindness is beyond description. Ms. Mr. Somsak Yesurenan, President of the National Assembly, said on behalf of members of the Parliament and people of Thailand that we are deeply grateful for His Majesty's untiring devotion to the well-being of his subjects. His Majesty rules the country with justice and fairness, provides warmth, wisdom, and beacon of light to show people the good way of living. The President of the Supreme Court, Mr. Pairot Wayupap, said that we wish to express our loyalty and pleasure on this auspicious occasion. His Majesty is in the heart and mind of Thai subjects. His Majesty is conducting himself, his royal duties, according to the 10 guiding principles and work for benefit of people in all regions of the country. With His Majesty's wisdom in the work of judiciary and justice, His Majesty has given the guiding advice for judiciary. We are grateful for His Majesty's kindness and pledge to work with justice and fairness in all respects for His Majesty the King. Traditional respect for the royal family, and the popularity of His Majesty the King mirrors his great and untiring devotion to the well-being of his people. In the 66 years of His Majesty King Bhumibol Adulyadej's reign, the nation has grown from a population of under 20 million to over 60 million. Blanketed by fields and forests, to one crisscrossed with modern infrastructure, linking into the most remote villages. For the country, His Majesty the King has been bedrock of justice and stability. All of the royal projects and activities clearly demonstrate that since his accession to the throne 66 years ago, His Majesty has never stopped dedicating himself to his subjects' welfare by ceaselessly seeking ways to bring about prosperity and happiness to the country. His greatness as a ruler educator has earned him the love and respect of all Thai people. His Majesty has given so much to his subjects and his country without discrimination or returns of any kind. We all then shall do our best to help lessen His Majesty's concerns, though it may not even be close to a fair return for what we owe to His Majesty and the country. Nonetheless, if one wishes to do good, to be a good person for oneself and for society as a whole, one need look no further for an excellent example. It can be seen in every aspect of his impeccable manner and unsurpassed sense of selfless sacrifice. He's not only our king, he's also our father. This year marks the auspicious 85th birthday anniversary of His Majesty the King. We celebrate, and the best way to celebrate is to follow in His Majesty's footsteps, fulfill His Majesty's wishes, and give back what we owe him and Thailand. The King holds a special place in the hearts of Thai people for his devotion to the welfare of his people, offering an understanding of social and political issues that affect Thailand. The King has provided a solid base for the country in times of social turmoil. Despite being a constitutional monarch, the King has made several political interventions to stop political quarrels and has helped Thailand usher a smooth transition to democracy. The King of Thailand is highly regarded by his subjects as the father of Thai people and the father of the Thai kingdom. Thai people, who are like his sons and daughters, are therefore wholeheartedly respectful and grateful to him. Therefore, every year on his birthday, Thai people celebrate all over Thailand and around the world. The King's birthday and the Father's Day are occasions for great celebrations of the fatherhood and parenting, and to honor and commemorate fathers and forefathers. His Majesty the King, as the father of the land, takes care of his subject and rules his country with loving kindness and compassion. We therefore humbly extend our best wishes to His Majesty the King on this auspicious occasion of His Majesty the King's birthday. Long live His Majesty the King. His Majesty the King and members of the royal family are on their way to the royal motorcade for the departure. The royal guards are ordered to prepare for salutation. In a moment, the band will play the royal anthem, and the guards of honor from the three armed forces and the royal guards will give salutation. The color guards will lower the colors as a gesture of paying respect to His Majesty the King. And then the commander of the combined guards unit will lead the cheer, "Long live them Majesties the King and Queen," to be followed in unison 3 times by all the guards. The great artist, the father of the Thai dairy industry, the father of the water resource management, the father of the Thai technology, the developer king, the father of rainmaking, the father of Thai innovation, the father of Thai invention, the father of research. These are only some of the names given as a tribute to His Majesty the King in recognition of his great work and immense dedication to the country in various fields. 29th Cavalry Squadron, acting as the guards of honor, humbly seeing His Majesty Royal Motorcade in its departure. The Royal Motorcade is now traveling back to Sirirat Hospital. So this morning we have witnessed historic picture of hundreds of thousands of Thais in the Royal Plaza and along Rajadamnern Avenue, joining together in humbly wishing good health, good wishes to His Majesty the King on this auspicious occasion of his 85th birthday anniversary, the 5th of December 2012. This picture is being transmitted to 177 countries, 6 continents around the world, for Thai people living abroad to join in these celebrations. Utmost reverence and love Thai people have for His Majesty the King have not come by as a tradition. His Majesty has earned the people's reverence and love by sacrificing so much of personal comfort for bringing so many good things to Thai people throughout the country. His Majesty have spent until now so much time to study everything that could be used to lessen the hardship and difficulties caused by nature and economic backlashes due to domestic and international financial crises. There are so many royal advices given at many occasions. The royal advice on sufficiency economies is a fine example of His Majesty's kindness towards Thai people at large. His Majesty the King's status in the hearts of Thai people is beyond explanation by a few normal words. It requires a long poetic expression if all His kindness and compassion for the Thai people are covered in full text, in full extent. That is why all the wishes and accolades for His Majesty's birthday on the 5th of December every year were all expressed in beautiful poetry. The beautiful language we use for this auspicious occasion may be old-fashioned, but is an old-fashioned of reverence and love that all Thai people want to preserve for our unique and great monarch modern-day Thai people have ever known. Decades, His Majesty King Bhumibol Adulyadej has been respected, revered and loved by Thais throughout the kingdom. His life work, spanning more than 5 decades, covers a vast spectrum of activities which have far-reaching effects on Thai life. His Majesty the King is more than just a beacon of hope and symbol of unity for his people. Through dedication and by example, he has earned not merely the trust and respect of his subjects, but the deep reverence and acceptance of his wisdom. His Majesty is indeed this country's guiding light. His Majesty has also dedicated himself to development work, such areas as rural development, agriculture, land and water resources, public health and education, resulting in benefits to the majority of Thais. Through countless trips around the country, learning at first hand about the problems and hardships encountered by his people, His Majesty has been able to suggest solutions which have brought them progress and prosperity. Various celebrative activities organized during this auspicious occasion of His Majesty the King's 85th birthday anniversary are in essence a tribute to His Majesty the King, born out of respect, reverence and gratitude for the tireless efforts and contributions he has made to this country. The celebrations on the auspicious occasion of the 85th birthday anniversary of His Majesty King Bhumibol Adulyadej is organized by the Thai government and also various organizations, associations, foundations, private sector, and also members of the general public. As for the activities organized by the government, the celebrations involve many activities and functions which began in Thailand on the 1st of December 2012 and will run until the 6th of December 2012. Some of these were jointly organized by the government and the foundation of King Rama IX the Great or 5 Thanwa Maharaj Foundation. These activities include the exhibition reflecting the kindness and benevolent activities of His Majesty the King that has benefited the Thai subjects. On Sunday, the 2nd of December 2012, Her Royal Highness Princess Sirat, the Royal Consort of His Royal Highness Crown Prince Mahawachiralongkorn, presided over the walk activity in celebrations of His Majesty the King's 85th birthday anniversary. On the 3rd of December 2012, 86 men underwent the ordination ceremony at Wat Saket Rachawara Mahavihan, or the Saket Temple, Royal Temple, as merit-making in tribute to His Majesty the King on this auspicious occasion. On the 4th of December 2012, yesterday, Her Royal Highness Princess Wonrat Rachakanya, His Majesty the King's daughter, presided over the merit-making ceremony and the religious blessing on the occasion of His Majesty the King's 85th birthday anniversary at Sanam Luang Ceremonial Ground. There were also the merit-making alms offerings to 286 monks in early morning of today, the 5th of December 2012, and religious ceremonies of various religious beliefs, namely Brahmin, Buddhist, Sikh, Islam and Christian religions, organized yesterday, the 4th of December 2012. The heart of the activities involves the organizing of ceremonies at Sanam Luang Ceremonial Ground and also at other venues at the same time throughout the kingdom on the evening of the 5th of December 2012, with live telecasts by the Television Group Thailand to all Thai households. So this evening, there will be live telecast of the candle lighting ceremony in celebrations of the auspicious occasion of His Majesty the King's 85th birthday anniversary, to be held at Sanam Luang Ceremonial Ground. Our transmission will begin at around 7 p.m. Thai time, so please join us then. The Prime Minister of Thailand, Ms. Yingluck Shinawatra, will be sharing the event, and this will be telecast to 177 countries around the world via the Thai TV Global Network. The government is the center in this organizing, with the working group members, including the headquarters of the 1st Army Region, the Royal Thai Police, and various agencies. These parties organize parades, bringing offering as a gesture of homage paying to His Majesty the King, to the main stage in Sanam Luang and the grand candle lighting ceremony that will take place this evening. For many of the viewers, you probably remember the event taking place just recently on the 9th of November 2012, the Royal Barge Procession. His Royal Highness Crown Prince Mahawachiralongkorn represented His Majesty the King in travelling by Royal Barge to Wat Arun, or the Temple of Dawn, for the Royal Katin ceremony. This Royal Barge Procession, as part of the ceremony to present Royal Katin robes to a congregation of Buddhist monks at Wat Arun, is a ceremony that takes place rarely, since the procession has to be prepared and the horsemen need to be trained. So it's a rare celebrative event to take place. It was meant to celebrate the 84th birthday anniversary of His Majesty the King on the 5th of December 2011, but that particular Royal Barge procession was postponed from last year's original date, since there was severe flooding in many areas of the country. So the Royal Barge procession on the 9th of November this year is a major event appreciated by the Thais as an opportunity to show their deep respect and loyalty to the monarch. Buddhist Thais consider the presentation of Katin robe to the monks highly meritorious. The ceremony known as the merit making or Thot Katin is performed during the period of 4 weeks upon the end of Buddhist Lent. In 2012, the end of Buddhist Lent was on the 30th of October. So during this period of the 1st to the 6th of December 2012, the general public will be provided with a variety of celebratory performances free of charge, particularly at Sanam Luang Ceremony Ground, where the Prime Minister will be presiding over the candle lighting tribute paying ceremony. She will give a speech of tribute and will offer felicitations in front of the portrait of His Majesty the King. More than 40 years of the royal project has given enormous benefit to the Thai people. An initiative of His Majesty King Bhumibol Adulyadej, the royal project came into being in 1969 when he stayed at Phuping Palace in Chiang Mai. He visited and talked to hill tribe villagers who told him about their sources of income. They said that the income from the growing of opium and peaches was about the same. At that time, tribal people living in the highlands had become a source of a problem for the government, partly because of their destructive slash and burn technique of clearing land, as well as their traditional cultivation of opium poppies. In his speech at Chiang Mai University in the same year, 1969, His Majesty said that he intended to help hill tribe people grow useful crops that would give a high income than growing opium, so that they would switch from opium cultivation to other crops. The project would also support the government's policy of banning opium cultivation and trade. His Majesty pointed out that the traditional farming method of cutting down and burning the forest conducted by hill tribe villagers would lead to forest destruction and deterioration of soil quality. That was how the royal project was launched, and His Serene Highness Prince Pisadet Rachani was assigned by His Majesty to carry out his initiative for the establishment of the project. The royal project was registered as a foundation in 1992 and involves the growing of a wide variety of cash crops, especially temperate zone plants. The royal project was awarded the Ramon Magsaysay Award for International Understanding in 1988. In the same year, it also received the Thai Export Award 1988 for its outstanding activities to promote Thai exports of fresh vegetables and fruit and canned fruit. The royal project won an award from the Drug Advisory Program of the Colombo Plan in Sri Lanka in December 2003 on the occasion of the 30th anniversary of the Drug Advisory Program. There are currently 38 development centers under the royal project in northern provinces to help farmers collect, distribute and sell highland produce while improving their quality of life through education, healthcare and environmental preservation. All 38 development centers will bring their organic produce to be sold at the fair in Chiang Mai, the Royal Project Fair. Today, members of his family spend almost 8 months of the year in one or another of the royal residences which have been built outside of Bangkok. They are located in Chiang Mai in the north, Sakonnakorn in the northeast, Prajop Khirikan in the mid-south, and Narathiwat in the far south. You can see the people here still gathering within the area of the Royal Plaza. They are saying that they love the king, and they're still saying Song Phra Chareun, long live His Majesty the King. They come from various parts of the country many traveling since the day before yesterday even, and a lot of them take up their positions in the Royal Plaza since last night. They literally camp here through the night to wait for this historic moment. In great joy, smiles on their faces, some even cry, all very happy to catch the glimpse of His Majesty the King. His Majesty has become not only the most traveled monarch in Thai history, but also the best informed about a wide range of rural difficulties. What he has done for the people in all parts of the country has resulted in deep love and respect the people of the kingdom have for their beloved father of the land. And hence the reason why you see hundreds of thousands of people gathering in Royal Plaza, overspilling into the Rajadamnern Avenue, and millions of people in Thailand and abroad join together as one on this very, very special day. His Majesty learns firsthand from the people themselves when he travels to the rural area of the local conditions and problems. After having put them at their ease, he conversed with the local inhabitants and learned from them the problems with which they were faced as they themselves perceived the situation. After consulting further with the officials concerned, His Majesty made his own conclusions about the problems, including the causes and the possible methods to redress them. Upon his return to Bangkok, or sometime even on the spot, he shared what he had learned with the members of the government, requesting them to assist and give support to the people wherever feasible. Sometimes he had used his own funds in the early stages to help a project get off the ground. In 1988, he established the Chai Patana Foundation to fund and help in accelerating rural development projects that are beneficial to the people and the country as a whole. You can read more about the Chai Patana Foundation and its project on the chaipat.or.th website. His Majesty the King never simply issued a directive. The impetus came from the local population who must agree with the proposal and cooperated to see that it was successfully implemented. The royally suggested or royally initiated projects have all been started in this way. They cover the whole spectrum of rural problems in Thailand, from the introduction of new crops to water conservation, from swamp drainage to the preservation of natural forests. In all, the aim has been sustainable development, serving not only immediate needs but also those of future generations by conserving the present environment and seeking to restore areas that have already suffered from misuse. These projects are later known as Royal Development Projects, which are divided into many categories and carried out in every region of the country. The Royal Development Projects can be classified as the project initiated according to His Majesty's wishes, the Royal Projects, the projects under Royal Patronage, and the Royal Initiated Projects. Let's take the first one. The projects initiated according to His Majesty's wishes. These are the projects that His Majesty implements and in which he conducts study and experiments himself. They are based on the recommendations of experts and use his private funds. Once the projects have yielded satisfactory results, His Majesty passes them on to the government for further development. As for the second type of Royal Development Projects, the Royal Projects, they are the private projects of Their Majesties the King and Queen, such as the Crop Substitution Project and the preservation of watershed areas in the north. The objectives of the Crop Substitution Project are to stop opium cultivation, deforestation, and the slash and burn cultivation methods used by the Hui tribes, as I have explained earlier. His Majesty has given advice and assistance to hill tribes on how to plant cool climate fruits and flowers, which yield a better income. As for the third category, the projects under royal patronage. These are projects on which His Majesty gives advice and guidelines to the private sector, which then implements them using its own funds, technical and human resources. This project include the Thai Encyclopedia Project for Youth, the Dictionary Project, and the Din Dang Cooperative Village Development Project. And fourthly, the Royal Initiated Projects. These are projects which His Majesty initiates and gives advice to government agencies concerning necessary studies and implementation. So here we have the atmosphere of the ground floor of the main building of Siriraj Hospital, where Thai citizens dressed in yellow are sitting waiting for the arrival of the royal motorcade. They are here to humbly wish His Majesty the King good health and longevity, and seeing His Majesty back to his residential floor in this building of Siriraj Hospital. Again, they holding on to the national flag and also the King's flag. As regard to the royal development projects, they are altogether classified in another way into 8 categories according to the sector of the economy that is targeted. And these are agriculture, environment, public health, occupational promotion, water resources, communications, public welfare, and others. So you can read more about royal development projects on the website rdpb.go.th. The royal motorcade has passed the Arun Amarin Bridge, approaching Siriraj Hospital. Today, His Majesty is not just the head of state. He has also become a key factor in the development of the country. One of the best-known development theories suggested by His Majesty is the new theory, introduced many years ago. The new theory involves land management and development of water sources for agricultural purpose. Its formula is 30-30-30-10. Under the new theory, a plot of land is divided into 4 portions, namely 30% for a water source, 30% for rice field, 30% for mixed crops such as fruit trees and vegetables, and 10% for residence, animal farms, and rice barns. The new theory has several advantages. It is uncomplicated, easily implemented, and does not involve costly technology. It has been tried and tested and has produced satisfactory results. Farmers who have followed this theory have become self-sufficient and self-reliant. All Thais come to understand the word self-sufficient after His Majesty the King suggested a self-sufficient economy as a way to pull Thailand out of the economic crisis that erupted in 1997. The important idea of a self-sufficient economy is that the Thais should live a life that leaves them enough to eat, while they rely on their own economy, with rich and fertile land suitable for food crops. Thailand should conduct research and development on soil and crop improvement. People should produce enough for their own consumption first. His Majesty has suggested government spend part of its budget on land development for people to establish self-sufficient farms. People are encouraged to apply the new theory on land management and development of water sources for agricultural purposes. When there is a surplus in productivity, more exports will be seen and a high economic growth will return. People waiting along the road leading up to Siriraj Hospital are in great jubilation, and they are cheering with the words Song Prachareun, long live His Majesty the King, echoing very loudly around this area. They put their hands, their palms together in a prayer position as a gesture of deep respect and loyalty and love to their king. Thai citizens everywhere at home and abroad are now joining together as one to pledge their everlasting allegiance to their most esteemed and beloved monarch in profound gratitude for His Majesty's unparalleled devotion to his land and his people. During his more than 6-decade reign, His Majesty's righteousness, compassion and wisdom have been an indispensable guiding beacon for the Thai people, on whom He has bestowed the means to achieve happiness through sufficiency, moderation and sustainability. His Majesty the King's suggestion on the self-sufficient economy aims to encourage people to help themselves and strengthen communities through public participation. The idea places emphasis on basic economic development to be carried out step by step. People will greatly benefit from the development process, which is set to respond to their immediate economic demands and enable them to get through the crisis. This new development trend is beginning to lay down firm foundations for all of Thailand. From his birth to the world's longest reigning monarchs, His Majesty King Bhumibol Adulyadej has provided leadership, inspiration, comfort and wisdom to not just Thais, but people around the world over 6 decades. His Majesty's vision and compassion are boundless, as is the love and respect his subjects have for His Majesty. His Majesty the King and His Royal Highness Crown Prince Mahavajiralongkorn have now disembarked from the royal motorcade. People in the area around Siriraj Hospital are greeting the arrival of His Majesty the King and members of the royal family. Here in the picture is Her Royal Highness Princess Julapon Walalak, Her Royal Highness Princess Somsawali and other members of the royal family. His Royal Highness Crown Prince Mahavajiralongkorn and Her Royal Highness Princess Mahajakri Surinthorn also standing waiting the arrival of His Majesty to return to his residence in this main building of Siriraj Hospital. For decades, His Majesty has been respected, revered and loved by Thais throughout the kingdom. His life work, spanning more than 5 decades, covers a vast spectrum of activities that have far-reaching effects on Thai life. They all kneeling down, their palms pressed together in a prayer position, giving humble good wishes to His Majesty on this occasion. In his message that he delivered at Siha Banchon, or the open balcony of Ananta Samakom Throne Hall, he said the congratulatory statement and the oath of allegiance impresses him. His Majesty thanks everyone, all Thai citizens who joined together with good wishes today. The good wishes and togetherness that His Majesty sees today uplifts him. This togetherness is an important factor for the unity to occur in the country. If Thais still adhere to this virtue in their heart and mind, one can hope that the kingdom will survive and thrive despite any obstacle. He also says that may the power of the Triple Gems protect all Thais and the nation and allow them to live happily forever. Thais have deep respect and revere His Majesty because of his lifelong untiring dedication to helping the country's underprivileged and devotion to the well-being of his subjects. You can see people here expressing their love and affection for the king, and now they are now singing the royal anthem. During his more than 6-decade reign, His Majesty's righteousness, compassion and wisdom have been an indispensable guiding beacon for the Thai people, on whom he has bestowed the means to achieve happiness through sufficiency, moderation and sustainability. So we have now come to the end of the live transmission of the ceremony when His Majesty King granted an audience for members of the royal family, high-ranking officials, and members of the public to present him with humble good wishes on the occasion of the celebration of His Majesty's 85th birthday anniversary. Television Pope Thailand would like to thank all viewers for kindly watching this program. Please join us again for the next live transmission of the candle lighting ceremony in the evening, starting around 18:25 hours Bangkok time. Thank you and goodbye for now.
การเฉพาะกิจแห่งประเทศไทยขอเชิญชวนท่านผู้ชมทุกท่านนะครับในช่วงค่ำวันนี้เวลา 18 นาฬิกาจะมีการถ่ายทอดภาพงานพิธีจดเทียนถวายพระพรชัยมงคลให้พี่น้องชาวไทยทั่วโลกได้ร่วมกันจุดเทียนถวายพระพรชัยมงคลถวายพระบาทสมเด็จพระเจ้าอยู่หัวโดยพร้อมเพรียงกันในเวลา 19 นาฬิกา 19 นาทีด้วยครับ
ท่านผู้ชมที่เคารพครับการถ่ายทอดสดในวโรกาสที่พระบาทสมเด็จพระเจ้าอยู่หัวเสด็จออกมหาสมาคมณศรีบัญชรพระที่นั่งอนันตสมาคมเนื่องในพระราชพิธีเฉลิมพระชนมพรรษาในวันนี้ต้องยุติลงแต่เพียงเท่านี้โทรทัศน์รวมการเฉพาะกิจแห่งประเทศไทยต้องขอบพระคุณท่านผู้ชมทุกท่านที่ได้กรุณาติดตามรับชมตั้งแต่ต้นมาโดยตลอดผมประภาสสักุณนาถอันตชาติเกษมสรรณอยุธยาพระเอกคุณชัยสุวารีและคุณสายสวรรค์ขยันยิ่งต้องขอลาท่านผู้ชมไปก่อนและขอได้โปรดติดตามรับชมรายการปกติของแต่ละสถานีได้ต่อไปสวัสดีครับ
สวัสดีค่ะ
สวัสดีครับ
สวัสดีครับ
ประสบนิกรชาวไทยที่มาเฝ้าทูลละออง